What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now Plus. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about the state of the Life is Strange franchise. I want to talk a little bit about, if we would see a brand new game, if there would be any announcement, if there should be, all those kind of things. Also talk a little bit about the studios, right? And I say studios plural. I want to talk about Don't Nod just a little, but mainly going to be focusing on Deck 9. So remember, Deck 9 is the one who did Before the Storm, and then they just made True Colors, which released, if you're thinking about like, wow, that's a quick turnaround, Alex. Yeah, that's why I'm not that much anticipating any kind of Life is Strange thing in 2023. I think it's possible, but I'm not expecting it for the simple fact that it's only been about a year and 4 or 5 months. As the year goes on, it'll be 2 years since Life is Strange True Colors came out in the fall of 2021. So you look at Don't Nod, and I do think there's a sneaking suspicion in me that Don't Nod may one day, and in fact, they've kind of never fully closed the book to Life is Strange, so that is also one thing. But the fact that they are very independent, they're very much doing their own thing, and they're doing a lot of things. 5 or 6 different titles Don't Nod is in various levels of going through, right? Some are probably more completed than others, but they're making a lot of projects. So by a simple numbers game and the fact that they're the ones who literally created Life is Strange in the first place, could it ever happen where they come back? Well, Square Enix being the publisher, Don't Nod kind of splitting from it, has always made me think, not that there's bad blood, but that there's kind of they don't really care. They're not going to do it. And in a way, and I'm pretty sure this is how it works, without Square Enix, Don't Nod, I don't think is just allowed to make their own, you can double check me, you can fact check me in the comments, but I do think that that would slow them down, or that would hurt that prospect. But there's always going to be a piece of me, even though I've been very, very vocal. Well, Life is Strange 1, Season 1 is one of my favorite games of all time, okay? When it comes to Life is Strange 2, I absolutely hate that game. So it's a very love-hate relationship just in general, but there's always a part of me that thinks that one day they will go back for what they would consider a Life is Strange. It literally is called Life is Strange and Life is Strange 2. There is no Life is Strange 3, right? Before the Storm, True Colors. You could consider that a 3 or a 4, whatever you want to use, but it's not the number 3. So could Don't Nod ever come back? I think so. Would it happen this year? Absolutely not. Maybe we hear a few more things or a few more games that they're working on, right? They did that sizzle reel where they had the background with their logo, which hints at the games they're going to be doing, but the hints are so wild. It's what are you actually making? So, obviously they have the new game, Banishers, Ghosts of New Eden, at the end of this upcoming, or the end of the year, I guess we're in right now. I got to remember it's 2023. I don't think we're going to see anything else from Don't Nod, specifically, I guess, for Life is Strange. Then you go to Deck 9. Now, what I find interesting about Deck 9 is, a couple things. So they are, from what I can gather, basically the primary developers in the Expanse game. So, right, it's the Expanse, a Telltale series, and Telltale has, influence and is a part of it, but it seems like Deck 9 is shouldering most of the weight. Again, fact check me if I'm wrong, but that's certainly what it seems like, and I believe they've even said that. But here's the thing. When you go on their websites, I like to check job listings, not that I'm qualified for any of these, but I like to check job listings on all these random companies just for fun. And if you go to Deck 9, they are hiring, in case you were curious, and they're hiring for 17 positions. Now, not just any 17, okay? Some of them are kind of the run-of-the-mill, very important people. I'm not dissing people that are those things, but what I want to focus on is they're hiring some pretty high level where it makes me think that they're making 2 different games at the same time, or they're finishing the Expanse and they're getting ready to jump into the next blank game, whether that be Life is Strange or something else. So let's go through a couple of these listings, just kind of reading them out. Senior or lead tools programmer. Then you got more tools programmer, lead game designer, 2 of them, lead programmer, 1 of them. The biggest one, though, game director. They are literally looking for a game director. Now, here's a couple things you can read into it, right? They can't be hiring specifically those positions for the Expanse. It's impossible, right? You can't be hiring a game director for a game that's just about done because it already has a game director. You wouldn't be hiring leads Although, I mean, leaving that open, there is only one other circumstance that you could see a studio hiring a lead, is that if something probably is up, right? I mean, if somebody leaves that is a lead or as a senior kind of position, not saying that dooms your product, because it does happen kind of across the board, but if you're hiring like multiple leads, actually, one of those jobs having two of the same title, if you're doing that, because people have left your studio, you have a studio issue I think you need to look into, which I'm not saying they do. In fact, I don't think they do. So what does that mean, right? At the end of the day, it means, in my opinion, they're hiring for either a second team or they're just getting ready for a second game entirely once the Expanse has kind of moved over. Now, reading it, I was trying to see if I could kind of gather anything. It sounds like a Life is Strange game, but here's the thing. There's no mention of Life is Strange, right? Sometimes with these teams, in the job postings, they'll literally say a benefit of you working there would be if you knew about X franchise. And it's like, oh, okay. Well, why do you need to know about the Tomb Raider franchise? Whatever it may be. Why would you need to know about it? Well, because you're going to be making a new one, right? So they don't mention Life is Strange. It's not even like a extra thing that they would like you to have. So if you want to work there, you don't need to have played the Life is Strange games or even know about them. But the kind of things that they're looking for, they talk a lot about narrative branching, non-linear narrative, I think was the word. So that, I think of branching, that's the word I would use to describe it, but non-linear, same kind of thing. Multiple choices, right? Leads you to different things. What games have that they've done? Life is Strange. But here's the thing, right? It doesn't have to be Life is Strange. I mean, even if you look at what Don't Nod's doing, there's a lot of influence from Life is Strange. You can tell that they've made Life is Strange games, but they're brand new games that they're making. Even go back with Don't Nod into Tell Me Why or Twin Mirrors, they feel like Life is Strange games because that's kind of in their DNA, right? And it's in Deck Nine's DNA as well. So there's no guarantee that, again, in my strong belief, they are making a new game. And I think they would be, ramping it up in 2023. They could even have two different teams. Maybe they're already working on it right now. But to be very, very confident and say that it's a Life is Strange game, I don't want to go there just because I don't want to be massively disappointed. I want more of them. I'm not saying you have to give them, again, like because of the quick turnaround, I can see this being like a topic. It's like, well, you want them so fast. Like, take your time. I'm not demanding these games yearly, even every 2 years. Well, number one, I know that it takes longer than that to make games nowadays. But, if you can give a Life is Strange game every 3-4 years, I will take that. And factually, we're only, again, like 1 year and a couple months after the last one. But you have to think too, in the modern era of games, you announce games rather early. So like, would you announce a Life is Strange game this year, even if it came out next year or the year after? That's the thing. When would it actually come out? I don't think a Life is Strange game comes out this year. I also probably don't think a Life is Strange game comes out next year, although it's possible. And also, they proved with True Colors that they announced it in the same year it came out. So it's not like you need to announce it and then it releases 2 years later, right? So to play it safe, I'm going to say that this is probably going to be another year, right? 2022 was quiet. I do think this is going to be another year that's going to be pretty quiet, if not completely quiet, with Life is Strange. Ask me again in 2024. Let me look back at these job postings in 2024, and then we'll see how it goes. I think it would be more likely in that one. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure you guys are subscribed, bell icon turned on, and I'll see you all on the next one.